Hey fellow murder peeps, I'm Sarah.
Sweet zombie Jesus.
We're watching Futurama today.
Also, it's Easter.
Oh yeah, happy Easter Monday. Also joining us today is my sister Megan. Say hello, Megan.
Hello.
She helped me find the episode we're doing today, and she also recommended Robert Raymond Cook, so give that a check out later. So...
That was a good one.
It was a good one.
Yeah, I like it.
So this is the show where I tell Anthony true crime stories he's never heard of before, and occasionally a guest.
Occasionally a guest.
Occasionally a guest. We've only done it one time before this, so...
Hello, Maggie.
Yeah.
Dad and Anthony can call me that. That's it.
You don't know her, but if you do know her, don't call her that.
Do not call her Maggie. We get that special privilege.
Unless you're me, in which case, go for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you had to earn it.
Right on.
Got a case you want us to cover? Email us at bondingovermurder@gmail.com. Today we're going to be talking about the abduction of Doina Bumbea and a few others that were taken to North Korea and forced to marry American soldiers that defected there.
I mean, sad, but I really love the last name, Bumbea.
Yeah. Bumbea, so I'm assuming that's how that's pronounced?
Ballin'. Mr. Bumbea, at your service.
Well, this is Miss Bumbea, I guess.
I know, but if it was mine.
Not fair. So this isn't like our usual case, but it was just so interesting, and we heard a little bit about this with Fusaka Sano, where Japanese people were taken by North Korea.
Coincidentally, our other episode to have a guest so far.
Yes, exactly.
What is it with abductions and guests?
I don't know. Maybe it's because sometimes there's too many names and you get confused, so I bring them in to keep you grounded.
I think you seem like weird people.
One is your oldest friend, and the other is my sister that you've known for 13 fucking years.
You're weird, Cam.
That's
In Anthony's defense, I am also weird.
We're all weird. Nobody's normal in this life.
Huh?
Exactly.
All right.
All right, let's get into it. Doina Bumbea was born on January 15th, but some places said January 25th, so I don't fucking know. She's born in January of 1950.
Bumbea.
That's going to be your favorite name forever now, isn't it?
Bumbea at your service.
In Bucharest, Romania.
Oh.
So you need to give a different accent. I don't know the Romanian accent.
Oh. I don't even know where it
that
starts.
one's Eastern European?
Yeah, it's Eastern
Romania,
European.
yeah, it's sorry to all the Romanians who are currently dealing with Russia being assholes.
Oh, yeah.
Because lots of Ukrainians are fleeing to Romania, last I read. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So her mother was deported from, I've never heard of this place, Transnistria, which is a small part of Moldova, technically.
Oh.
So, technically, but I believe they kind of act like their own country. It's complicated. I don't know.
Okay.
But I only know Moldova from the movie Red.
Yeah.
Where they solve a nuclear problem at the end of the
Moldova sucks. Moldova sucks!
Good movie.
Yeah.
So this is 7 hours and 9 minutes away from Bucharest, the Transnistria. So she is deported from there to Romania in the 1940s, and her father was an officer in the Romanian army, reaching the status of general staff, which I don't really understand. He's chief of, generals?
General staff?
General staff. It's the status of general staff.
Yeah, that means you're on the staff of the... I know that sounds obvious, but you're on the staff of that particular general, so you're like a general's aide, an assistant. You're still really high ranking.
Okay, I thought you would know that.
Yeah.
Or you would know that.
But you're on the personal staff of the general, so you go out and do things that he needs done.
Okay.
It's a pretty important job.
Okay, so he got that far. Their family traveled lots before settling down in Craiova, which is 3 hours and 3 minutes away from Bucharest in 1960. So I didn't really get a lot of information about her life, so unfortunately hers is going to be the shortest bio we do today, because we're going to be doing 2 other bios for people that I talk about a lot in this episode. But that'll be after I'm finished with her current situation. So in 1965, Doina went to an art high school to focus on making sculptures. Once she graduated, she went on to study at the Faculty of the Fine Arts in Bucharest in 1969. 2 years into, 1 year into her studies, she left Romania to continue her studies in Italy in 1970.
That's a well-traveled, well-educated woman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and apparently very intelligent and talented.
I'm not surprised. How old is she at this point?
So 1950 and this is 1970, so she's like 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so...
Very, very good for her.
Yeah, so very young. That same year, she also met an Italian man and married him, but only to divorce him 2 years later.
Oh.
So she didn't marry him for that long, but after the divorce, she stayed in Italy to work on her sculptures and stayed there for 8 more years before shit went down.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen less successful marriages on this podcast.
What was the shortest one we've seen again?
That was, what was the one that kept getting beat up by all her husbands?
Betty Lou Beats.
Yeah,
I knew
Betty
you were
Lou
going to go
Beats.
there.
Yeah, that's Betty Lou Beats.
I was on her side until she made her children hide the bodies with her. Then
and
I was like,
blamed them and tried to throw them under the bus.
Then I was
Mother of the year right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on her side until then. But
Yeah.
either way. So despite living in Italy, she went back to visit her family often and called them every 2 weeks to catch up. So she stayed pretty close to her family.
Right on.
Yeah. In October of 1978, she went missing after people reported she was approached by an Italian man who claimed to be an art dealer. So there's two different ways this ended, I guess. Some claim that he offered her a curator job in Tokyo or Hong Kong, but I say Tokyo.
Okay.
But others state that the man told her that he'd host a grand exhibit for her art in Tokyo or Hong Kong, but she would have to make several tour stops along the way.
Right. Okay.
Essentially. So the plan was that she would land in Moscow first, then make a short trip in Pyongyang, North Korea, before they were to arrive in Japan. Allegedly, the man also gave her a North Korean passport to make the journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does traveling through North Korea not raise any red flags? I mean,
People travel through North Korea?
in the 70s, didn't they just open up to tourists in
Yeah.
one of their cities?
It's not long after the
Yeah.
Korean War. It's not exactly a cold zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't
Yeah. That's kind of like traveling to Russia in a couple of years. It's going to be weird.
Yeah. No, that's true. That is true. I think she was just young and kind of excited and she,
Yeah.
things were different back then. We can just Google shit now, but
Mhm.
they weren't able to do that.
No, totally. Yeah.
So she just was like, "Oh, that sounds like a cool opportunity." And she
Yeah,
kind of
there's no way to fact check this guy or anything.
Exactly. And she's traveled a lot, so she's like, "Oh, cool, new opportunity."
Yeah.
type thing. So Doina never made it to Japan, obviously.
Shocker.
Because we wouldn't be talking about her.
She went and had a pleasant time. This was a great story, sweetie. Thank you for bringing this one up.
Yeah. The
Isn't that
end.
nice, folks?
The
A
end.
well-educated, smart woman had a great day. Yeah.
One day we'll do that episode and nobody will listen to it because it's too boring.
I don't know. That'll be the episode that I do. We said I should always do at least one. That'll be the episode.
Oh yeah. The happy one.
Yeah.
Nobody died. Nothing bad happened. The end.
And everyone danced the hamster dance.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That means I'm gonna have to add that.
Yeah. Cue hamster dance now. You're welcome, universe.
I mean, I haven't thought of that stupid dance in years, so
And-
thank you for that.
And thank you. It's in my head forever.
Remind them once again now.
Oh god. I'm not doing it a second time.
I'm like a god.
God.
The hamster dance.
Anthony has a very special ability to even just name a song and it's in my head forever. He doesn't even have to sing it.
Look for the bare necessities,
No.
the simple bare necessities.
No, get out of here. Get out. Get out. I don't want you in my life anymore. Your
Wow.
fucking bare necessities. Context, he's been singing that shit all week and he knows I don't like it, but he does it anyway.
All right, I'm going to need one of your couches to move into, listeners. Fine, any couch that's like 5'5", I'll fit on, so we're good.
5'6" though.
All right, I'll fit on with a little bit of feet stepping over.
Yeah, there you go. Fetal position. Fall asleep in the fetal
Moving on.
position. When they landed in Pyongyang, the Italian man was gone and she was arrested by North Korean police. She was then sent to a spy camp, and the camp Doina was sent to taught people how to kill the British, according to an IRA man from Belfast, Ireland, who went through the same system in 1988.
Huh.
Which we heard about the IRA in our
We sure did.
Shankle Butchers.
That was a dark episode.
Yes, it was. As dark as Fred and Rosemary West, but you know.
I never even re-listened to that one. I hated that one.
Yeah, I've made special care not to involve children to that extent ever again,
Yeah.
so don't worry. So 3 Italian women, including Doina, were taken to North Korea around this time. So I'm not going to keep saying North Korea. I'm going to put NK. We all know what NK is. It's North Korea, because it's a mouthful each time, and
Right.
it's mentioned a lot. So at the time, NK had spies in various countries, but one case related to them happened in Beirut, Lebanon. NK spies were placed there to collect women and bring them back to NK. They made job postings to hire secretaries to work in a local school for a Japanese manufacturer. One of the requirements for the job was for them to be unmarried, which should have been a red flag, but 70s, you know? 70s, I don't know. I don't know what a life for women was like in the 70s. I don't think it was great, especially in Lebanon. I don't know anything about Lebanon.
Yeah, let's not make any conclusions without knowing anything about Lebanon. Let's just say
Yeah.
it wasn't great for women in the 70s. Period.
Anywhere, yeah,
Period.
anywhere.
Yeah.
So 4 women were chosen, and just like Doina, had multiple stops before getting to Japan and landed in Pyongyang instead. The women were sent to the same type of camp that Doina was sent to. In 1979, 2 of them managed to escape, but the Lebanese government demanded the release of the other 2, which was granted in the same year.
Wow.
I will get back to them later near the end, more details on one of them, because she relates to stuff. Or it just adds to stuff. Anyway, that I thought was interesting. Their testimony described that 28 women who were in the camp came from Europe or the Middle East. Among them, they met 3 French women, 2 Dutch women, and 3 Italian women. So probably one of them was Doina, but no way to concretely say. After Doina arrived in North Korea, I guess I'll go back and forth.
Yeah, I'm
in my
getting a
script.
little confused, but okay.
So after she arrived in NK, she was forced to marry an American deserter named James or Joe Dresnok.
Okay.
So we're going to get into his backstory.
Okay.
James was born on November 24th, 1941 in Norfolk, Virginia. His parents would constantly fight and later became estranged. He quotes, "My father was a worker and my mother was a housewife, and they fought like cats and dogs. She stayed in the bars and on the streets day and night. We slept, ate, and drank everything in the back seat of the car. They both died, end quote. They both died when he was young and was raised by relatives for a short time before being put into foster care."
Oh, wow. Okay.
At 17 years old, Dresnok decided to join the army. In 1959, he married his first wife, Kathleen Ringwood. After he got married, he served 2 years in West Germany, but when he came back from his deployment, he discovered his wife left him for another man and divorced him.
Oh, wow.
So Dresnok became depressed during the divorce and re-enlisted to get deployed to the most dangerous places he could think of. He then got deployed to the Demilitarized Zone, or the DMZ, between North and South Korea.
Yeah. Fun place. Nice time.
Yeah, in the 70s, maybe, or this is the 60s, actually.
Yeah. No, yeah.
For him, this is the 60s. So when did the Korean War end? I didn't actually look at that.
Hold on, I'll give it a goog.
All right, what does Google say? The almighty Goog.
The Korean War was fought between North Korea and South Korea from 1950 to 1953.
Yay! Now we know. And during that break, what were you saying, Megan?
I remember reading at one point that North and South Korea actually blast sound at each other over the demilitarized zone. If I remember right, North Korea blasts propaganda at South Korea, and South Korea blasts music at North Korea.
Nice. Nothing like listening to CCR and propaganda from North Korea at the same time.
Yeah.
Man, that demilitarized zone is fun.
I mean, I believe it based on what I added in here later that I read. You know, it kind of ties into that whole North Korea.
CCR is way later than the 50s, so this is
I don't know who CCR is.
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know the songs when I hear them. I
think
just don't know the
Vietnam.
artist.
Anytime you hear their songs, you think Vietnam. Or
Okay.
You think helicopters. Anyways, no, this would be more like some Elvis shit or something. It's the 50s.
Beatles.
The Beatles?
I don't know.
No.
When were the
They
Beatles?
were the
No.
60s,
Yeah,
I thought.
no, they're later.
I
Yeah.
thought they were the
This
60s.
is the 50s. This is music no one listens to anymore.
Frank Sinatra.
I
Really?
don't know.
I'm guessing.
We're going to have to give it our goog.
I'm not doing this again. You can Google it later. I don't care anymore.
We're doing a podcast and all three of us know literally nothing about anything.
I know the bare minimum to make an episode. That is all I need.
Fantastic.
And I just have random bits of information I find from Google.
Bonding over murder, where we bond over the bare minimum to discuss murder.
No, that's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair,
yeah. Yeah. I don't claim to be an expert on any of these episodes or to have all of the details. Everyone knows this is a summary.
Ah, that's good tea. Anyways, what were you saying about someone who was in some place doing something?
So one night, Dresnok abandoned his post to go be with a woman.
Nice!
Because he's a classy fuck. Classy fuck. And when he returned, he's going to face a court-martial for this offense at 21 years old. Is how old he was. Dresnok later stated, quote, "I was fed up with my childhood, my marriage, my military life, everything. I was finished. There's only one place left to go. On August 15th, 1962 at noon, in broad daylight, when everybody was eating lunch, I hit the road. Yes, I was afraid. Am I going to live or die? And when I stepped into the minefield and I seen it with my own eyes, I started sweating. I crossed over looking for a new life."
Wow,
Yeah.
ballsy.
Yeah.
New
So
life in
he just
South Korea.
decided North Korea.
He went to North Korea.
He went to North
Why
Korea.
didn't he head south?
Well, because the Americans were on good terms with the South. They were fighting with the South, I'm guessing.
So go south. The hell are you going north for?
It's a big country.
Go south.
Yeah. So he walked across the DMZ. When he first crossed over, the NK soldiers interrogated him to confirm that he was actually being genuine about defecting. Dresnok was one of 5 American soldiers in total who defected to NK.
Okay.
So I'll just quickly list off them. Private Abshir deserted in 1962. Roy Chung deserted in 1979. Dresnok, 1962, as I mentioned. Charles Jenkins deserted in 1965. Jerry Parrish deserted in 1963. And Joseph White deserted in 1982, which is later than I expected someone to defect into North Korea from the United States.
Regretting of choices.
Yeah. And who could have suspected? In 1966, Dresnok, Abshir, Parrish, and Jenkins tried to leave North NK by going to the Russian embassy in Pyongyang, but the Russians sent them all back. Of course they did. The embassy is in North Korea.
Putin don't want your shit.
I guess he would have been alive. Would he have been
I
baby Putin?
I don't know. I'm not up to date on my Russian leaders.
I don't know. Either way, like I understand not wanting to live in North Korea, but y'all went there yourselves.
Yeah,
Went there yourselves.
That's how the Russians feel. They're like, what do you want us to do about it? You're not even Russian.
Yeah, exactly. They wanted to defect to Russia.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
that worked
Russia's
out
like-
so well for them last time.
Well, and it's just like Russia's in, like, the embassy's in North Korea, so, like, they're totally going to be able to smuggle 5 Americans, who, by the way, the North Koreans are desperately trying to keep because that they only have 5 of them.
Wow.
You know, and it's a huge deal for people from the free capitalist country to go to North Korea. So you're gonna bet that they are doing a butt ton of propaganda.
Hey, you look like a white tiger walking down the street.
Well, 1 of 5 in an entire country.
Yeah, it's
So
nice.
you're a 1 of 5 white dudes in a completely different country. You're all by yourself.
That would be fun if it wasn't North Korea.
Yeah.
That's the only time I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah. Despite trying to defect, they faced no punishment, and the NK government even went out of their way to keep the Americans happy, because, like I said, they're a rarity. There's only 5 of them bitches in the whole country. And, like I said, huge deal for them to have these people come from a free country into their country. So, like, of course it's good propaganda. The 4 men lived together, because the other one didn't come until the 80s, and worked in propaganda films for the government. They were on magazine covers and even went on loudspeakers to try and convince others to leave the U.S. military and defect to NK, which ties into what Megan was saying earlier.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that North Korea blasted propaganda. I'm half guessing on what South Korea, because I can't remember.
I would do that to be petty.
Yeah.
If I was
might
South
just blast
Korea.
my podcast at the neighbors. Or our podcast at the neighbors.
Oh, you do it as to the one with the dog that goes on the roof.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
No, I do it to the next door lady who hates us and thinks that we're up at all hours of the night.
Yeah, we're loved by our neighbors. Yeah, we got. You know how everyone has like that dog in the neighborhood that never shuts up? We've got a neighbor who literally built a ramp onto his garage so the dog can climb the garage and bark down at you from several houses away.
Yeah.
You'll be in your own yard and the dog can see you and bark at you from his lofty heights.
And he's outside for hours. He's been out there at like 10:30 at night sometimes.
I love all animals, but fuck that dog.
No, fuck those owners.
Yeah.
Either way, so the main NK film Dresnok acted in was a 20-part series called Unsung Heroes, in which he played an evil American villain named Arthur.
Fun.
So Dresnok always played a mean and slightly brutal American commander in all of the NK films he's part of, because they want to show that the Americans are bad and, that North Korea's good.
It itself, dude. It's like, shit, maybe that minefield was there for a reason. God damn.
Are there mines in the demilitarized zone?
He just said he crossed a minefield.
Oh, right, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so the answer to that is yes.
Yeah.
No, fair. Should pay attention to my own shit.
Yeah, really? You wrote this shit.
Well, I don't remember everything I write.
Well, remember you said specifically, he pulled out his wand and said Wingardium Leviosa. The mines rose into the air, and then he walked underneath them. Remember your shit. You said it, not me.
I did not say
Yes, you
anything
did.
of the sort. You're just trying to bring Harry Potter into everything.
Harry Potter is everything.
Oh, God.
I just finished the book series again, and now my life feels meaningless.
God.
Someone get this man an obsession.
Yes.
He became very popular among the elite in NK and even translated Kim Il-sung's scripts into English.
Fun.
So this is before Kim Jong-il. This is, I think, his father?
Wait, they couldn't speak English themselves? He could just translate whatever the hell he wanted.
Well, he wanted to stay in their good graces.
Yeah, but they wouldn't know because they obviously needed him to translate, which means they don't know English.
Yeah.
He could literally just send help, send the police.
He walked there willingly. The Americans are gonna be like, "No, you lay in your bed."
This man is crazy. He thinks I'm writing praise about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So according to Jenkins, Dresnok betrayed the other Americans by telling NK their secrets. Dresnok also happily beat up Jenkins 30 or more times on the orders of the NK government.
Good man, that Dresnok.
Yeah.
Like, jeez.
Jenkins described the events, quote, "The sick bastard enjoyed it. He took solid, square-knuckled crack at me across the face, one after another. Why was he always in eager torture? He had become a stooge," is what he said.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So Doina was forced to marry Dresnok, and Jenkins claims that the sole purpose for her abduction was to be the wife of an American deserter. Like, that's the whole reason. The only reason she's abducted.
Wow.
Yeah, is to keep the Americans happy.
Right, so they got a white girl.
Yeah, not always white.
Oh.
All 5 Americans got,
Yeah.
women
Yeah.
this way,
Ugh.
which I'll get into later.
That's awful.
That's why there's lots of names. Because, like, when I started researching Doina, I saw that there's, like, a couple other women that had the exact same thing, like, with the same Americans. And I was
Wow.
like, okay, I should add all of it.
It's interesting. I don't know the other women, though, but it's interesting
into
that they
it.
went for, kind of an educated, well-traveled woman. I mean, hey, anyone's vulnerable to this kind of evil, but you almost think they'd go for, like, I don't know, orphans or like people like
I think they
without
go
much
after
prospects.
who's easy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You'd think it'd be easier to go after someone who doesn't have a lot of prospects.
Well, they go after really young women.
Yeah.
Because one of them was training to be a nurse, and the other was a massage therapist.
Oh, wow. That hits home.
Yeah, it did a little bit.
Mm.
So, they just chose young women that kind of fit their criteria of what they wanted and then took them.
Ah.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
It was probably based off looks entirely.
Probably.
Yeah.
We'll never know, but...
Yeah.
So during all of this, Doina's family still had no idea that she was taken to North Korea at this point.
Yeah. Well, why would they? They think she's traveling the world showing her art.
Well, no, they knew she was missing in 1978. Like, they knew she's missing. They just didn't know what happened to her.
Yeah, you go missing, you don't suddenly be like, North Korea.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like I said, she called them every 2 weeks to check in with them.
Yeah.
And then she just stopped and they're like, what the hell happened?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So they had 2 sons together named Theodore or Ted Dresnok and James Gabriel Dresnok. Jenkins later described Doina as beautiful and intelligent, which we already knew.
Yep.
At one point, he recalled a conversation he had with her in 1981 where she confessed that she was still dreaming of escaping to Italy, which, fair.
I would too.
Fair. Yeah, totally.
At this point, Russia's looking pretty good.
I don't think she got that choice. She didn't walk into North Korea willingly. She was abducted and forced to be there. Dresnok walked across the fucking DMZ himself. I don't feel sorry for him whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I know, yeah.
Also, why are you happily beating people? Like, why?
Well, when people feel helpless and powerless, oftentimes, I'm not condoning it, but oftentimes they'll take it out on other people. That's why they speculate the things like the Japanese war machine in World War II were so violent and horrific was because their soldiers themselves were subjected to violent and horrific treatment from their superiors, and therefore shit rolls downhill. And then, of course, they were violent and horrific to the people they conquered. Right? That's, evil begets evil, essentially.
I suppose.
So we're seeing the same thing here.
What are your thoughts, Meg?
If I had to guess, it would be he started off with a shit life.
Which he did.
Yeah, he started off with a shit life.
Yeah.
Shit childhood, shit marriage, shit deployment, and he went, I can find greener pastures. And then when he couldn't, he decided that, you know what, screw it, I can make it shit for everyone else.
Pretty much.
Yep.
That's kind of what I was saying. Yep.
No, makes sense. So despite wanting to leave, she did what she could to provide for her children. At one point, she even sold a gold necklace that she kept from Italy to get a sewing machine.
Oh, nice.
She made all of her children's clothes and was able to cook good meals despite having what they said miserable ingredients, because there's lots of famine in North Korea, so they don't have lots of supplies and stuff.
Whew.
Yeah. So while she took care of the children, Dresnok taught English at the Pyongyang University of Foreign Studies in the 1980s. From 1984 onward, Doina lived in a shared apartment with Jenkins and his wife Hitomi until she died of lung cancer in 1997.
Aw.
So she never left North Korea, unfortunately. That was Doina that died.
I thought Hitomi died of lung
No,
cancer.
Jenkins and his wife Hitomi shared an apartment with Doina until she died of lung
Until Doina
cancer.
died of lung cancer.
Yes, Doina died of lung cancer at age 47.
Yeesh.
That's so young.
Probably a lot of smoking going on or something.
But they don't have a good healthcare system.
Yeah.
I've read pretty much all of the 5 are dead now. Like the ones that stayed in North Korea, they died from just health complications and shit.
Yeah.
Because they probably didn't have access to good healthcare because the country isn't
lung cancer though, that's not really something good healthcare usually prevents you from getting.
No, but other one was like a heart attack, I think, and a stroke.
Yeah.
Which
those are things that a good healthcare system can help you recover from, but still, those are more lifestyle things than it is the healthcare system.
So after Doina's death, Dresnok married again to the daughter of a North Korean woman and a Togolese diplomat, which is a West African country.
Okay.
So they had a son named Tony together in 2001, and his family still lives in a small apartment with a monthly stipend from the government.
Right on.
So I'm going to get into Jenkins' backstory, because he and his wife are kind of like a big part on why things were discovered.
Okay.
So Charles Jenkins was born on February 18th, 1940 in Rich Square, North Carolina. He crossed into North Korea in 1965 after getting drunk and wanting to avoid combat in Vietnam, because fair.
Mm-hmm.
But still, You go from Vietnam to North Korea? I would take Vietnam, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
Yeah.
hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the year, though. I mean,
Well, 1965.
you've got the NRA, NVA, NVA, North Vietnamese Army. I'd be watching out for them guys.
Yeah, because
Probably
that
not
was
the
when
greatest when they're storming around.
Well, that was when the Vietnam War was going on. So
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's what I just said.
yeah, I know.
All right.
Either way, he thought he'd be sent back to Washington via a prisoner exchange, but they saw his propaganda value and kept him in Pyongyang.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so he tried to escape too, and it didn't work. He was given North Korea citizenship in 1972, and his job was to teach English to North Korean cadets and was also part of the propaganda films.
Great.
Yeah. NK eventually gave him a wife to keep him happy.
Ugh.
He married Hitomi Soga in 1980, who was one of at least 13 Japanese citizens taken from their country.
Yep.
Some of them returned, some of them never did.
Yeah.
Hitomi was only 18 at the time and was studying to become a nurse. Hitomi was forced to teach North Korean spies Japanese and about Japanese culture, so they could easily infiltrate the country.
Nice. And take more people like Hitomi.
Yeah. Well, there's another story I was reading where this couple was taken and they were separated, and then when they finally got released, they became reunited essentially.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So some people did go home, which is good.
Yay.
Yeah, I know.
That could be your happy ending story.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can just all say fuck the Kim family.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yep.
you, Kim. Come at me, bro.
All the Kims. Because that's their last name, right?
Yeah.
So finally, in 2002, due to a diplomatic incident, Hitomi and 4 others were briefly allowed to go back to Japan. Don't ask me what the diplomatic incident is. I could not find that.
And how do you briefly go back to Japan? You think you just run for it once you're there.
And guess what they did?
Yay!
When they were ordered to come back, all of them refused.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 years later, in 2004, Jenkins and their 2 daughters were able to join her and left North Korea for good.
Wow.
Yeah, so family was reunited. I read that like Hitomi and Jenkins would say goodnight like in her language, like how they like their familial goodnight, and then she would say goodnight in English, so that way they never forgot where they came from while they were in North Korea.
Right.
So
That's nice.
I thought that was really nice.
Yeah.
So when he returned, Jenkins was stripped of his rank and all back pay and benefits. He also served a 30-day jail sentence and received a dishonorable discharge for deserting.
I mean, you think he'd been through enough at this point?
Well, that's why they gave him such a minor one. Like
fair
usually,
enough.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, he got off pretty easy.
Basically, they gave him the lightest sentence they could on paper, I think.
I think so. A 30-day jail sentence, dishonorable discharge, and you don't get back pay and benefits. Yeah. No, that's fair.
We're not going to pay you for your time you defected to North Korea.
Which, that's fair. That's
Here's
fair.
a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
So in 2005, Jenkins released a book about their experience in North Korea. Jenkins and Hitomi's testimony was also recorded on air about their experience and was shown all across Thai media. This is when a Thai family came forward describing that their daughter went missing in a similar way. Anoka? I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, sorry. Also disappeared in 1978 when she was allegedly forced onto a boat while she was guiding. So I'm guessing she was like doing a boat guide thing.
Okay.
She was a massage therapist that worked at a hotel. And Noka lived in Pyongyang and had no children with her American husband that she was forced to marry, and remarried after his death. The Thailand government inquired about her, but North Korea claimed that she was never found on their territory.
Huh.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Bunch of honest people, those North Koreans.
So going back to the 4 women taken from Lebanon, one of them was named Shiham. I'm guessing that I might be butchering that. Sorry. She was one of the ones taken in 1979 and was forced to marry an American as well. So before she was sent back to Lebanon, she became pregnant by her American husband and decided to go back to NK, where she still resides today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
So people speculate that the reason these women were stolen was because NK is big on blood purity. I put in brackets like the Slytherins because I thought you'd like that.
Yeah. Very good.
Only North Koreans can be with other North Koreans. So the
Nice.
foreigners have to get foreigner wives. So that means we have to steal them.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. And they usually won't let foreigners marry North Koreans and will try and match them up with other foreigners. So,
Oh, wow.
all right.
We want you in our country, but not your
But
filthy
don't taint
blood.
our gene pool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to all the North Koreans that have to put up with this shit.
I mean, like, as everyone will know, keeping the gene pool not diverse and keeping it very much the same.
Totally safe.
Yeah, great idea.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. It's going to help you guys in the long run.
Yeah,
DNA
Kim
doesn't-
family, take notes. You marry your cousins.
Yeah, it'll work out great for you.
Just read Harry Potter. Oh, wait, I think it's banned.
Yeah. Oh, ha!
Fuck you, Kims.
Enough of this cousin marrying thing, and their eyes will stare in opposite directions. Won't be able to read the book anyways. Anyways, now that we've come at North Korea pretty hard, who's next? Who's next on the shit list?
We're such a small podcast. They're never going to come to us.
I'm coming at you next, Croatia.
What did Croatia do?
I don't know. Just random Jen popped up.
I'm like, I thought Croatia was fine. I don't know.
I don't even know if North Korea is connected to the same internet as the rest of us. Like,
I don't think so, but I know Kim Jong-un doesn't like people making fun of him, so...
oh, let me
It-
play
it's
you
a-
the world's smallest fiddle.
So Doina's family didn't discover that she was the same as these women until 2006, when a documentary covering Dresnok's life, essentially, called Crossing the Line, was released from NK.
Wow.
Her brother, Gabriel Bumbea...
Bumby.
Gabriel.
Bumbea.
That's the middle name of one of her sons, so she named one of her sons after him.
Aw,
Bumby.
you're such a mudget.
Yeah.
You are a budget! We're just doing so many throwbacks to our previous episodes today. My goodness.
I've had that one waiting for a while. As soon as
Ah.
you started saying Bombay, I was like, okay, I
Budget.
gotta find a way to put it in there.
The
Bumbea.
mudgets. Oh, God.
Mudget.
Bumby.
God. So her brother Gabriel noticed that Dresnok's son James Gabriel had an uncanny resemblance to his sister. So apparently the Romanian government knew of Doina's whereabouts since 1991, but didn't notify her family.
That just inspires so much
Yeah.
confidence.
Good job.
Yeah.
We could find.
So they didn't find out until 2006, but the Romanian government knew about it since 1991.
Yeah, that sounds like it wouldn't be that hard. They were citizens of your government, like citizens of your country.
Yeah. So they did inquire about Doina's whereabouts, but again, NK claimed that she was never found on their territory, which is a load of shit, as we all know.
Yep.
So Doina's sons still live in North Korea. Her eldest son, Ted, achieved captain level status in their military. Her son, James, was an alumni at the same university his father taught at. So basically they're like white people, but they are fluent North Korean,
Right.
speakers.
Yeah.
And they don't know anything about American culture or anything.
Right. They're expatriate. Yeah.
Yeah, but they've lived their entire life in North Korea.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, there's video footage of these guys in their North Korean military uniforms
Yeah.
speaking fluent North Korean.
That would look weird.
It looks really weird. It
Yeah.
does, because one of them is blonde, and like
Like a Korean beach boy. You don't. You
yeah,
don't imagine it.
yeah, it's really hard to picture.
Surf in North Korea.
So in November of 2016, Dresnok died of a stroke, and his children have taken his place purporting NK propaganda. So, cue the grand birthday! That he's finally dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right
because
on.
Dresnok is fucked. Sorry, guys. Dresnok, sorry to his sons who
I'll never hear this.
who will never hear this. Yeah. So the two have made several statements on video against the U.S. and praised the quality of life in North Korea. Yeah, so they've done multiple videos where they're, especially when Trump did his travel ban or whatever.
Yeah. When Trump was stirring shit up.
Yeah, then they were like talking shit about him and stuff like that. Which I mean, all of us were. So you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of us were talking shit because fuck you, Trump.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, man.
I don't know which. I guess I hate Kim Jong-un more than I hate Trump.
Although I would love to send
a-
Trump over to Kim Jong-un and just let them hash it out with their words.
Yeah, just stick the two of them in a room and lock them in, and with the cameras rolling.
Although the image I have in my brain is that they would be so compatible. It'd be like the movie Ghost. The pottery scene where like Kim Jong-un is like cradling Trump as they're making pottery because they're just both psychopaths. So then they're just like, oh my god, we have the same dream. Yeah, that's just the image I had in my brain when we said that.
Excellent. That's an image to keep you warm at night.
It's gonna keep me something at night. I don't think it's gonna be warm.
Or do you think Kim Jong-un would be the little spoon?
Okay, moving on.
I really don't want to think about that.
So Jenkins lived on Saddle Island with his family until he passed on December 11th, 2017. Just so you know what happened to him. So he was happy with his family until he passed. So long story short, we already knew the North Korean government is fucked, but which Kim dude thought it was a good idea to kidnap women and make them marry American dudes? Like, what the fuck?
Hooray!
Why is that hooray?
Yay for bigots!
Yeah, like, you know, they can't have our North Korean women, so we have to go steal some white ladies for them, or, well, just ladies in general, I guess.
Yeah.
They didn't care if they're Japanese, Thai, or, you know, like,
You can't
European.
have our North Korean women. You must have other type of women. Because we want you in our country, but don't you dare reproduce with our women.
apparently. Yeah.
I got nothing to say about that.
Yeah, so I'll just put that there. So thanks for listening to our podcast. Our next episode will be out May 3rd. Check out our website, bondingovermurder.info, to find out where you can listen to us.
Also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram at Bonding Over Murder Podcasts for updates and new episode info.
Till next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.